Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have more Trump regrets to share with you, more Trump voters entering the find out phase of their journey. So things have started to ramp back up again. They kind of fell off a little bit after Charlie Kirk's death. But yeah, Donald Trump is finding new ways to piss off his voters. So check this out. This is a video from the Focus Group podcast conducted by Sarah Longwell's group over at the Bulwark. Take a listen.
On the West Coast and California and whatnot, and there is problems, right? We see it in front of us. So that has gotten better in that sense, but then you see the other flip side where you see families being ripped apart, right? I didn't think it was going to be that dramatic where it's going to be hurtful in that sense. So that kind of changed your mood from like, okay, the country is getting better on that immigration part. You know, the borders are getting more strict, but at what cost?
So that was a kind of a recurrent theme in that focus group of, wow, I'm glad they're closing up the border, but, not doing it the way that I thought they would. Anyway, that Hispanic man voted for Trump in 2024. And like I said, it's just a common theme with, people who aren't diehard MAGA cultists. So they want the border secure, which I think we all agree that's the rational thing to do, but they don't like the cruelty that they're witnessing. This is a huge blind spot, I have to point out, for Donald Trump's team. I think they're so online, they don't realize that normie voters, not the cult voters, especially swing voters and moderates, they're not excited by these deportation porn videos that they're putting out. So this is going to be a problem for them in the midterms. If we have legitimate midterms, this will pose an issue for them. Another big issue for Trump is his economic failures. So in a conservative Reddit group, someone posted a news article about Donald Trump announcing that he was putting on the 100% Chinese tariffs again. The reactions were very negative. So check this out. One person wrote, quote, "I'm ready for him to leave office. I voted for him 3 separate times. Can't keep up. He is killing my industry." 3 times. Slow learner. Next up is another post from another Trump voter with a conscience. Someone posted a video showing ICE agents pulling an innocent woman out of her car and then wrestling her to the ground and then taking off with her. Well, another person praised these mass cowards, and this woman replied to the person who was praising them, and this woman said, "You're a fucking piece of shit if you think this is lawful. Holy hell, we have fallen as a nation. This is not what I voted for. You garbage waste of a human." So good for her. I mean, they're rare, they're unicorns, but they're out there. This next person only turned on Trump when it directly affected his family. So this guy posted on Twitter, quote, "Thank you very much at POTUS and at Speaker Johnson. My wife served her country, worked for the Air Force for 15 years, went to the CDC, and now she's been RIF'd," which is, getting fired. He went on to say, "You have lost at least 2 of your supporters forever. Thanks for nothing." I mean, I'm thankful they're waking up, thankful they're turning on him, but like I've said so many times before, these people remind me of that English beat song, I confess. They do not care until their life is ruined. They don't care until they find out that, oh, my life was one of the ones that got screwed and destroyed. This next one is similar. So a woman named Kimberly, she was gloating on November 24th of last year. She wrote in part, quote, "Please allow the liberals to be a bunch of crybabies and sore losers because they lost. We won. God bless America." Really? Did you? Did you, Kimberly? Did you win? Yeah, not so much as she found out. So on October 9th of this year, Kimberly posted, actually, she replied to a post from the right wing pollster Rasmussen, which is always favorable to Republicans. And she wrote, quote, I voted for Trump. I 100 believe that America would be in a better position if Kamala won. I know I would be in a better position personally. I completely regret my vote and will never vote for another Republican again in my lifetime, ever. So, yeah, she now thinks she would be better off with Kamala in charge. Unbelievable. Next up is another focus group video. So this man is explaining why he disapproves of Trump's presidency so far. So check this out.
It's on Canada, on China. These are new highs for tariff taxing and also with immigration, you know, where you can just stop anybody anytime without a reason.
So that was a Michigan swing voter. He went for Biden in 2020 and then Trump last year. Turns out the sequels do always suck. I guess he's finding out. And he mentioned, that particular guy mentioned a ton of different stuff that he was not happy about with Trump's presidency so far. And as with many Trump voters, this next person must not have paid attention during Trump's first term. So there's a woman named Ruth, and she posted on Twitter, quote, and the rich and famous globe-trotting Trump family is getting richer. I voted for Trump, but I'm not seeing what we were promised. Transparency. Bondi lied about the Epstein files. Trump said Zuckerberg belongs in prison for life. We're still funding Ukraine, etc. I mean, like, what part of the most corrupt president in history did you not understand? Right? Like, come on. Anyway, one thing that is really pissing off the Islamophobic part of Trump's base is that whole Qatari Air Force Base thing that's going to be housed on the Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho. So MAGA is just losing their shit over this. One woman shared a video of Pete Hegseth signing the paperwork for that, and she wrote, quote, I did not vote for this. So, I mean, this is what happens when you live in a media bubble. You don't hear about all of the deals that Donald Trump's cutting with Qatar, right? I'm sure this blindsided MAGA when the rest of us knew something was up when Qatar agreed to build Donald Trump's golf resort. I don't know if you guys heard about that. I mentioned it in another video, but yeah, they agreed to let him build a golf resort in their country. And then, as we all know, they handed him that jet that's worth almost $500 million. So, I mean, what did MAGA think was going on there? In any case, they're finding out. So this last FAFO story comes from the Guardian news outlet. So they went out, they interviewed a soybean farmer named Pure Fierst, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He's panicking because China was the largest importer of U.S. soybeans on the globe. They have not purchased a single dollar of soybeans, not a single bean, since Donald Trump announced the tariffs. So Pure Fierst and other soybean farmers are either watching their crops go to waste, or they're having to spend even more money that they're not bringing in on grain bins so that they can store it until they can find buyers. And remember, about 75% of farmers voted for Trump. Well, Pure Feast, he told The Guardian in this interview that he did with them, quote, I'm not going to get into who I voted for particularly, but I would just have to say, at the time, you got to make decisions who you think is going to be the best leader of the country and go on with life. And in 4 years, you get to vote again. That's the beauty of our society. It's not an 80-year regime. It's a 4-year cycle. It's hard to say what's going to come about. I mean, everyone's got their pros and cons. I mean, tell me you voted for Trump without telling me you voted for Trump. And, you know, the thing is, do we know for sure we're going to have an election, Pure Feast? Right? Like, can you guarantee us that, or Pure Feast, I think is how you pronounce it. Anyway, however you pronounce his name, are you telling me that you know for sure that Donald Trump is going to allow, that the Republican Party is going to allow another election in the future? Because right now, all they're doing is trying to rig the midterms. You know, and he's counting, or at least he was counting on Trump striking a deal with China. He went on to say, quote, "Let's say tomorrow we get a trade deal with China and it's favorable to soybeans. All of a sudden, you might see this market jump from $10 to $12 in 3-4 days. So it makes it extremely challenging from a risk management standpoint of when do you market your crop and how many eggs do you put in that basket? The potential is $12, but if we don't get a trade deal, it could go to $9. There's a huge volatility in soybeans." So, you know, I wonder how he's feeling now that Trump announced the 100% tariffs on China, then he's pulling it back. I mean, just more uncertainty. And this Pure Feast, he tried to spin this, you know, newfound fondness for socialism because he's, you know, all of a sudden all about the bailout. And he said, quote, "There's farms that are struggling to make money on soybean acres. And you've got to remember, whatever payment we're getting, whatever that dollar amount might be, if we get anything, it's not just going in our back pocket. We've got a fertilizer bill. We've got to pay the seed bill. There's a lot of payments. So really, that money might be in the farmer's hands for a month until it gets spent on inputs for next year." Yeah, Pure Feast, or however you say your name. That's how government assistance works. People aren't receiving government funds and then putting it in the bank or going out and having fun with it. They're paying their freaking bills, just like you. So however you want to spin it, just because you want to justify the bailout for yourself, that's socialism. That is, in a nutshell, socialism. So if you're against it in general, but then you want your bailout, you're a freaking hypocrite. That's what government funds are for. These people, I swear to God, as soon as they're in trouble, they all turn into socialists. And then in between, and when it comes to elections, oh, these socialists are going to destroy the country. Make up your freaking minds. Anyway, guys, there you go. I will have more for you. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.